Good evening, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, and welcome to the 195th, my goodness, episode of the Hard Compound Live. For those of you who don't know, my name's Rich and I run and operate the Hard Compound. We're a one-stop shop for all things motorsport, and we can be found on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram primarily, and these videos can be found on YouTube as well. As I say, we one-stop shop for all things motorsport. We put out 3 written articles every day. These go out on our Facebook, our Twitter, and our Instagram. About 9 o'clock, 2 o'clock, and 8 p.m. here in the UK. These take the form of race reviews, race previews, throwbacks, birthdays, breaking news, liveries, and anything else that we can shake a stick at across the motorsport world, including Formula One, IndyCar, touring cars, rallying, bikes, World Endurance Championship, and as I say, anything else that we can shake a stick at. So search for the Hard Compound on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube. Come in and join the fun. We're here to share our love of motorsport. Nothing else, no controversy, no bias, no clickbait, no nonsense. Come in and join the fun. In case you hadn't noticed, we also do live video interviews just like this one. And just like this one, these go out on our Facebook, Twitter, and our YouTube channels, saved in the live section on YouTube and in the video section on Facebook. As I said, this is the 195th one that we've done. We've had some fantastic guests, all 194 previous ones of them. I won't name them all, but we've spoken to people from across the motorsport spectrum. We've spoken to team bosses, people like Mr. Dick Bennett and Justina Williams from the touring car world. Spoke with Nick Worth, the boss of Simtech, who worked with Benetton and Leighton House back in the day. We've spoken with the likes of Mr. Mario Andretti and Chip Ganassi and Jackie Ickx, with people like Jackie Oliver. We spoke with David Brabham, Stephanie Hansen, Mark Sura, Emanuele Pirro. We've spoken with racers from the British Touring Car and World Touring Car Championships, past and present, for everyone from people like Michael Crease and Tom Chilton to Jason Plato, Matt Neal, Gordon Shedden, and the like. And we've spoken with racers at the start of their career, at the end of their career, and everything in between. So do go and check those out when you get a moment, but don't do it just yet, because we have got a terrific young racer joining us this evening, right at the very start of what is hopefully going to be a very long and successful career. He's racing in the British Formula 4 Championship. He's taken podiums and he is heading up to Knock Hill tomorrow. Yeah, very talented young racer. He's a good lad as well. We've been chatting off air, so we're going to bring him in right now. Please join me in extending a very warm welcome to Mr. Rowan Campbell-Pilling.
Good evening.
Evening. Rowan, how are you, my man?
I'm very good. No, it's been a steady day, bit of training, bit of sim work, prepping for this weekend, and also been very, very warm.
It's been a bit warm, hasn't it? And I mean, I know that you are a bit further north in the country from where I am. And if people further north of me are saying it's warm, it's been warm. But it sounds like it's been a productive day, if perhaps
Definitely
not the most comfortable.
No, a little bit sweaty, but hey-ho. As Daniel Ricciardo said, real athletes sweat.
Yes, which is why I tend to sit next to a nice, cool fan, because I'm not a real athlete at all. I just sit and talk about things. But no, firstly, thank you very much for coming on, having a chat. I'm very glad that we've got this together, because it's been quite a handful of years. So yeah, thanks very much for coming on. Much appreciated, especially as I know you're busy this week. So
no, thank you so much for having me, and thank you for all the viewers, listeners, and watchers. I guess that's
yes,
what
we've got plenty. We have got plenty tuning in already, which is lovely. Thank you very much to everyone. It looks like the technology is working. Yes, if you have any questions, comments, or anything else, or just want to chat amongst yourselves in the comment section, please do. Any comments and questions we'll see in real time, and we'll do our best to work them in as and when they come in. Or you can just sit and listen to us rambling if you like. However the mood takes you on a very warm Wednesday. Right, that's the housekeeping done. So yes, firstly, before we get into everything, all set for the longish trip north this weekend, I guess.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too bad. I think it's going to take us about 5.5 hours. So we'll probably split it up into 2 stints, 2 sort of bite-sized chunks of 2.5 hours or so. And then go from there, really. I'm going up with my father, so that should be nice. Bit of lad and dad bonding time on the way up, and plenty of time to do it. So, no, it should be good.
Yeah, I think it is. Must be one of the longer trips for. I mean, sure, fairly sort of central with regards to not Hill and everywhere else. But yeah, must be one of the longer trips. It's certainly one of the longer trips for most people. But yeah, cracking circuit to go racing at, and the weather looks like it's going to behave. So yeah, should be good.
Hopefully, no, it should be shaping up to be a decent weekend. Sim prep and everything on my side's been going well. I think the team have headed up there today to get everything in place tomorrow for then Friday free practice. So no, it should be a solid weekend, hopefully.
Yeah, good stuff. And while we're here, we are going to give a big shout out to JHR Developments, who, of course, with whom you race. I was actually at Silverstone, 10 days ago, obviously with the other single series, single seater series, and yeah, all very good. Everyone looks well at JHR, so that's good. Right, okay, let's get cracking, I suppose. I mean, obviously that was the immediate future, but I like to start right at the beginning when we speak to people, which for some people isn't that long ago. For others, it's very many moons ago, but not so long in your case. But where did the interest in motorsport first come from? Was it in the family, or was it just something that you latched onto?
So I started off on two wheels originally on trials bikes. So
Nice.
going over obstacles in woodlands and stuff. And I was on a trials bike from about 2 years old, believe it or not. So
Wow.
that was all good fun. And I think that's sort of where I started to learn to try and want to go away at a weekend and come back with something shiny. So me and Dad were traveling all up and down the country, competing and being relatively successful as well. I've still got my box of trophies from the trials biking days up on top of my wardrobes. But
Nice.
no, it's that's where I sort of started off, and then had a go-karting when I was about 6 or 7 years old. And as 6 or 7 year old Rowan would absolutely love going around corners as fast as he can and going down straights as fast as he can and thinking it's wicked. And so no, sort of got the bug for four wheels then and never really looked back. Went through the ranks of karting, and we had some decent success in junior and senior categories, taking the Daniel Ricciardo Series Junior Championship in 2021. I believe I'm still the youngest ever Daniel Ricciardo Series Junior Karting Champion, the youngest ever, so that's good. 14 years old. So yeah, it's crazy to think I was 14 in 2021.
That is crazy. In 2021, I was 40. So that's depressing. But it is great. I do like hearing when people sort of start out on two wheels, because obviously through these I've spoken to a few people, and there's two people that stick out in my mind who started on two wheels who went to four wheels. One was Jackie Hicks and the other was Mark Blundell. So they did all right.
You can say that.
I mean, not too bad. Looks like it could be a good place to start. I mean, just quickly though, when you started in karts, excuse me, obviously you've been competing on two wheels before, but when you got into karts, when did you start getting competitive in karts? Because some people think, I was just doing it for fun to begin with, and there's other people by lap 3 they want to they kind of want to start passing people. Which one of those were you, or were you in the middle somewhere?
I think I was probably in the middle somewhere. I think I absolutely loved the thrill of the speed and the adrenaline rush and just taking things as fast as I could, or I thought I could at the time. But also having that sort of competitive edge in the back of my mind going, yeah, I can see him up there. He's faster than me. I want to beat him. So sort of learning off other people, seeing what they're doing better than me, and then trying to apply it into my own driving.
Yeah, which is great. It's the best way to learn, isn't it? Almost following someone, see what they're doing, and getting better. I mean, and I always ask this: do you remember your first competitive race and how you felt beforehand? Because I think some people still get nervous, when they're just racing against their mates for nothing, or even when they've done 100 races, they still feel the nerves. Did you feel any nerves, or were you just excited to get going on that first race?
All I really remember about it was I needed a wee. I was sat in the assembly area going, well, I didn't at the time, but I think I was just nervous. So I'm like, I really need a wee here. But yeah, you probably didn't need to know that, but there you go.
No, love it.
I remember the weekend. I don't really remember the racing, but it was at Shennington Kart Club in Bambinos. Was my first ever sort of outdoor proper race, and I got lapped.
Well, okay. Well, at least you're kind of at a level. Yeah, you know where you are when you start.
I was certainly not the best, that's for sure. And certainly through Bambino and Cadet, I struggled on the weight side of things. I wasn't the smallest of children, let's say that. So, no, I had to work really hard in junior and senior and still now to try and remain a logical weight, let's say, because I am very much a foodie and I love to eat.
And there's absolutely nothing wrong with that. I mean, okay, it may not always help, but there's nothing wrong with that whatsoever.
It means I'm faster downhill, so it's okay.
Oh, that's true. Bit of momentum, yeah. Happy days, yeah. That's cool. It's always good when you hear about people needing a wee, because even this year at the Indy 500, there was a rain delay for half an hour, and I think it was Connor Daly, who's raced well over 100 times in IndyCar. He just did a wee in his seat because he needed to. Didn't get out. Just needs must. Lightning the load and all that.
Can't say that I've done that, I'll be honest.
Give it time. Maybe. You never know. If you ever get into endurance racing, goodness me, you never. Yeah, that's where all kinds of things can go wrong. But I mean, it's sort of great that there was, because some people, maybe because of the competition around them, they're kind of quick running at the front straight away, and it's not easy, but it's like a bit easier. So it's kind of nice that you kind of worked your way from the back, for the want of a better phrase. And just sort of learning things about the weight of yourself and the car and all that and how it all ties in. And I guess that was all part of the learning curve when you were racing those first sort of 2 or 3 years, realizing there's a lot more there's a lot more than like a heavy right boot.
Big time. No, I've just seen in the chat come up with mentioning Easy Kart, and I did Easy Kart Cadet. I remember back in the day with Ollie Gray. Oliver Gray was doing it, who is now a driver coach for another driver in F4. Obviously went up the ranks of single seaters. I think he did Formula 3, was with Williams for a little bit as well. So now I've got fond memories of Easy Kart. Then Easy Kart changed to the Birrell Art series and then into Daniel Ricciardo series. So there, bit of history. There you go.
There you go. I didn't even know that. Every day's a school day. I love it. Obviously, you worked your way up through the different ranks and improved and went quicker and got the taste for it. And I mean, do you remember the first time you thought, this is absolutely what I want to do with my life? Or was it always that was what you wanted to do? Or
probably back then when I had my first go in a kart, I was like, at the time watching the likes of Lewis Hamilton, Sebastian Vettel on TV, Kimi Räikkönen, going, that's awesome. I want to be there one day. And, I've got incredibly supportive people around me that'll push me and try and make me do my best to achieve my dreams.
Yeah, which is hugely important, of course, having people around you. No one can do it on their own, certainly not in motorsport. Just want to do one last thing on the karting there before you leapt into the world of cars. We mentioned the Daniel Ricciardo series. Obviously, good name to have on the series. Everyone likes Danny Rick. Just that season, though. I mean, I've had a look at the points and I found a bit of footage on YouTube and things like that. Just have a quick look at it. There were basically two people in the hunt really for the title later on. You and Alicia Pomowski, who's obviously gone on currently left F1 Academy. There was only 46 points, I think, between you two at the end, and you came out on top. But you must have had some. There must be a couple of races or a couple of moments that stick in your memory for that season before winning the championship, and you're able to relax a bit. Was there anything like that you can remember that was good fun or a bit dicey or anything like that?
No, there were certainly moments from the year that I look back fondly on. Round 2 was Rissington, and we polled it in qualifying. And the good, I remember my lap in qualifying. It was such a good lap, and it would have actually put me 4th in seniors. It was so fast.
Wow.
I think it was the biggest pole margin of the year by quite a way. It was a very, very good lap. I remember that lap very well. Then in the heats, we won. We checked out by about, I can't even remember. The winning margin was significant. It was such a good weekend. The kart was on rails all weekend, and we'd established the peak of the tyre for qualifying. So we went out in qualifying. We waited. Went out, I think we did 3 laps, and then came into the pits. It was it was just a cracking weekend overall. Won the heat, won the pre-final, and won the final. So clean sweep the weekend. It was, and that was sort of where we sort of got our advantage really in the championship from the get-go. I mean, the first round was difficult to say the least. We struggled for pace a little bit in qualifying. We qualified slightly out of position. We started on second from P2 for the final. I took the lead around the outside of the first corner at Houghton Park, which is a right-hander. I thought I was going to get squeezed off, and I just managed to execute it around the outside of Alicia, who was on pole. And then we checked out into the distance by about 6 seconds, I think. And then my exhaust bracket snapped, which meant I got the black and orange mechanical flag, the meatball flag, if you like, and had to come into the pits with 2 laps to go, which was gutting. But yeah, so we dropped a few points to Alicia there. But I remember, well, that was 46 points by the end of the season, but it was more than that on drops. Well, it was less than that on drop scores. So no, she was only 46 behind on drop scores. So we had a bigger points advantage than that, which was nice. We won it in the pre-final at Fullbeck, which was good. And then we knew all we had to do was finish the final. And as long as we finished on track, as long as we didn't get disqualified, I think it was. Right. So it was sort of just to go out and play and have a bit of fun. And I think we finished 3rd, maybe. I can't really remember.
I'm always curious in that situation, because I know what I'd be like. I'd still be at it. I mean, was there this voice in the back of your head just going, no, slow, ease it, steady, finish?
No. Well, it was, if we hadn't have finished, I think we'd have still won. However, it was more one of those that we're like, well, just don't be daft. Yeah. Don't get taken out. Don't take anybody out. Just if someone puts it down the inside of you, just let it go. And that's exactly what we did. So I think we could have had a shot at winning it, but also we didn't need to. We did what we needed to do.
It's a bigger picture. And then obviously to cross the line, no, you've done it, and you're a champ. That precisely at any level you're competing at in any sport, just knowing that you've won a championship, that must be a great feeling, especially after the issues of the season and all the ups and the downs and everything. To get it done, that must have felt great, and also giving you a huge confidence boost as well, I guess.
Oh, massively. It was my first title, and we went on to win many more from there in karting, and I think it was definitely a massive confidence boost and a relief as well, because it's sort of what you've been prepping for all the year before, so all 2020. Physical training, out testing as much as possible, obviously within reason of COVID restrictions and stuff, which was difficult. But no, we spent a lot of 2020 preparing for 2021, and to go and execute it is like a big sigh of relief, and an overjoyed feeling, that's for sure. Yeah,
it's lovely to hear that. Excuse me. Before we skip on a bit, our good friend Diffan Evans, hello Diffan, is tuning in on Facebook. He's put a couple of comments in. One, he said, he remembers Rob Austin, BTCC driver, saying this goes back to needing a wee. He said he should have had a pre-race something else before one quite a few years ago. Yes. Even half an hour makes a big difference in that situation, I'm sure. But anyway, what I wanted to ask, say from Diffan, he actually said, what do you think about dropped scores? Because obviously this happens in some series, not in others. I've got my own thoughts on that. I just wonder what you think about dropped scores in general. Should it be a thing?
It depends on how my year's going, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
Some years I might say, yeah, love them. Other years I'll go, nah, they're not needed. No, it's all right. But no, I think I don't know. I think with drop scores, it's difficult because you've got that sort of second chance almost, or sort of like a little lifeline if you do have a disastrous weekend. Then again, everyone has disastrous weekends, so I think it sort of cancels out, really. So I don't really have an opinion on them, to be honest.
That's fair enough.
No.
You know, as you say, you're the driver, and it depends on the situation. I mean, as a fan, I just think, well, if you get points, you get points. You earn points. You should keep them. As a fan, that's my thought. But you guys know far more than I do, so I'm just sitting here. Someone just said the auto caption is reading drop scores as dropped scones. Apparently, the captions are playing havoc. Oh, this could be a lot of fun. Should we just deliberately mispronounce things just to see what comes up? Anyway, no drop scones. Absolutely not. Very tasty. We like them. But no, that's great. Now, so obviously you won the championship in the Daniel Ricciardo series. I did a lot of digging and I couldn't find much that you were up to in 22 and 23. So I might need your help here. But obviously, did you start? When did you first start to look at feasibly moving into the world of car racing? And was it always single seaters that you had your eye on?
Yes, precisely. So we were during my karting years of 2021 and onwards to 2023. Sort of 2021, 2022 were peak years. 2023 we didn't do as much just because I had GCSEs and that sort of thing. So that was more of the focus. But I was on the YRDA Academy, which is underneath Arden Motorsport, run by the Horners. So I was behind the scenes doing quite a lot of simulator work and preparing to test the F4 car with Arden. And then in 2022, on the 14th of February, so Valentine's Day, I got to test the old F4 car, which was the McGale. And over the next 2 years, I did sort of 10,000 miles of high-speed testing on as many tracks as possible across the UK, behind the scenes while karting, to try and get as much track knowledge and as much sort of seat time as possible. And then with a view to go and race in 2024. Okay. Unfortunately, Arden didn't do British F4 anymore. Didn't buy into the new gen cars. So we moved to Argenti Motorsport to do British F4 last year.
Smashing, that's good. I didn't realise there'd been so much like testing going on behind the scenes. Obviously, where you'd been out in the car, but about 10,000 miles will definitely certainly lay some foundations. And I did see was it end of 23, start of 24? You were signed to the Motorsport Academy UK, which
2024, start of 2024.
Okay, which is run obviously through Motorsport UK, and guys like Hugh Chambers and everyone, they do great work. How did that come about? Because that's a huge boost, naturally, isn't it?
No, an incredible opportunity. We were in Motorsport UK in Bicester for a meeting, and they asked us to apply, which was very flattering. Really, shows that I've done a good job coming through karting, and that they want to support me into my single seater journey. So that's very flattering. And then moving forwards, they've put a incredible support network around me, as they do with all the drivers on the academy. They offer sort of as much as you require, really, if that makes sense. So it's one of those things where you get out what you put in, if that makes sense. So if you're really pushing hard for them, they'll do an awful lot back for you, and I think it works really well. So we do sort of camp days. So whether that's physical training, we get mental training support. We do some time at iZone on the simulators. We went for a tour around Aston Martin Formula One team at Silverstone, which was really cool. What a facility that is. But no, they put a real support network around you, and and try and help you with whatever you need, no matter how small, even to your nutrition. So I worked very closely with Tom from Motorsport UK last year, looking at my nutrition and looking what I'm eating and making sure I'm eating the right things, which
usually happens.
Oh yeah, all the time.
Every time, never a cheat day.
What's a cheat day?
See, precisely. I've dropped an alien phrase into the chat. We're all good. But I mean, just to touch on that, I mean, I've spoken to a few people who have been involved at Motorsport UK and the academy, and it is everything. It's from on track, off track, the sim, it's media stuff, it's everything, as you say, isn't it? And they do terrific work, which is great for the future of motorsport in this country, of course. Just before we get into the season, though, with Argenti, I always ask this to everyone who comes on: the transition from karts to cars, whether it be from single-seater or into people who have gone down the Junior Saloon Car Championship route or Ginettas or anything like that. How did you find the change from karts to cars? Because you went straight into kind of downforce and wings and all that kind of stuff. Was it pretty easy to pick up, or was it a bit of a jump for you?
For me, it was... Parts were pretty difficult and parts weren't, if that makes sense. So, oddly enough, it felt slower than a kart to start with, just because you're slightly higher off the ground, you're more sort of enclosed, whereas karting is very raw, it's very open, and you are literally, 35 mil off the ground. So it is very, karting's very raw, whereas F4 is sort of very controlled and everything's done in the correct manner. The correct processes have to be followed in terms of like tire warm-up processes, for instance, pad bedding. If you have new pads, you've got to bed them in a certain way. Cool laps, never done a cool lap in my life until I hopped in a F4 car. How to switch a tire on properly in cars is very different to how it is in karting, because obviously you've got disc brakes in the center of the tire, so you warm the core before you warm the surface, and that was very difficult to get to grips with. But actually, the driving side, Yada and Arden had done a fabulous job of preparing me very well on the sim. I've done an awful lot on the simulator before I started to even go in the F4 car. So no, that was certainly a massive advantage, that's for sure.
Fantastic. No, it's always good to hear these insights. And just say in the comment section, we got Darren Pullen, who's obviously done some racing himself. He says yes, the downforce and braking is a big change from karts. So obviously he's experienced the same thing, which is great. So, and I guess once you'd signed with Argenti, or you were placed with Argenti Motorsport, having driven a similar car, I bet you couldn't wait to get going, could you? I mean, were you setting any targets or any goals or anything, or was it just a case of let's go, learn as much as we can and see where it takes us?
Precisely. The goal last year was to learn and absorb and do as much as possible, if that makes sense. So as long as the driving was strong and the car was in a good window, we were fast, and that was proved at times last year. Even coming up to Knock Hill race weekend this time last year, if you'd have told me I'd have put it on the front row in my rookie year in qualifying and separated the two championship contenders, it'd be 300ths off pole and be P2 off in the front row, I'd have told you to get a jog on, to be honest. So no, I think at times last year we were very, very strong, and last year was full of ups and downs, that's for sure. But no, it was one of those things where I was like, well, let's just learn as much as possible and absorb knowledge, make sure we're getting the processes right, make sure we're carrying good minimum through corners, doing what the other kids are doing better than me at this point, and trying to apply it myself.
Which is, again, it's the best way to go about it, isn't it? To excuse me, to progress. So there was ups and downs last year. I want to pick on a couple of results and bits and pieces, good and bad, because it's never always plain sailing. From memory, the first round of the season, your first round in the series, was this the weekend where it was biblically wet at Donington? Yes, I thought it was that weekend. Not ideal. I mean, in some ways the rain's a leveler, but when it's when you can get a canoe down the Craner curves, it's a bit much. How did you feel? I mean, were you just thinking could have done without this weekend?
I mean, I remember it quite well. I wasn't quite sure what to expect, to be honest. But then as the live stream came on Sunday morning, and they showed one of the JCB recovery vehicles stuck on the grass down Craner Curves, I was like, yeah, we're not going to be racing anytime soon.
Yeah, it's time to get comfy.
Yeah, pretty much. And it was a bit of a waiting game, to be honest. I didn't really know what to expect. Obviously, it was my first weekend at touring cars, and I guess you could say I was pretty much thrown in the deep end a little bit, excuse the pun, with an awful lot of rain. But no, it was good fun, and I think it ended up drying out for our race in the afternoon, which was pretty bonkers considering the circuit was worthy of a swimming pool in the morning.
And I should say this: the ground staff did an unbelievable job. They were digging up some of the verge, weren't they, to let the water drain away and all that. Yeah, absolutely amazing. And for your debut sort of pair of races in those conditions, I mean, I got here you took 12th and 11th, so just outside the top 10. I mean, on tricky conditions with this, not the ideal preparation and stuff. I mean, were you pretty pleased with that, just to get through and be in the mix?
It was a very strong weekend considering qualifying, and I think we qualified outside the top 17. I think we were P19 and P18. Correct me if I'm wrong.
Right.
But I think that's about where we were. So to come through and do that much in our first race weekend was very good. And we were very, very pleased with that. It proved the racecraft was there. The race pace was there. It was just highlighted that we need to work on qualifying.
Yeah, sure. But I mean, again, first qualifying session, you kind of take it how it lands, and then you go from there, which you obviously did on that weekend.
Exactly.
And got a very strong result. So obviously, first result is in. First weekend's under the belt. Bit of confidence, obviously, with what you did from where you started to where you finished. Did you think Brands Hatch was going to go as well as it did? I mean, I can tell you're pretty confident in your own abilities. You got a race with a thing under your belt, but did you think it was going to go as well as it did at Brands?
No, it's another one of those things where it's like, as a rookie to qualify on the second row, P3. I mean, we were pole for most of the session, which was frustrating, and it got taken off us right at the end. But yeah, I think we got pipped by Deegan and Alex on like the penultimate lap, something like really close to the end. But yeah, to be third in your rookie year in the second race weekend was just sensational. It was amazing. I don't know how to still put it into words. It was just incredible.
I get the feeling that there's probably a part of you thinking, oh, we can really do well here. But obviously, as I said, you've got Deegan Fairclough and Alex Ninovich, who I don't think anyone will mind me saying Deegan especially just walked away with it. Last year, he was super quick, and Alex was, really wasn't that far off, really. And you're there, your second race weekend, and you're mixing it with the two guys who did go on and set an incredibly high bar. Absolutely fantastic. And what was it, your third, fourth race? I can't remember which one it was.
Third race. Yeah,
it was the third race. To be up on the podium in Formula 4, fresh out of karts, pretty much, and only done a lot of sim work. I mean, you must have been over the moon. It must have felt fantastic.
I mean, yeah, I remember sitting there on the grid going, I really shouldn't be here.
You get that kind of...
I am very much out of my depth for it to be my second race weekend and my third race, and to be on the second row, I was like, well, we'll just take it as it comes. I'll just try and get off the line, and then I'll just follow these two in front. If there's an opportunity, I'll go for it. But at the same time, it's just cool to be here in the first place.
Okay.
I'm here to learn and do as much as possible and absorb and just make sure I'm doing stuff right. And there we are on the second row of the grid, right behind the championship contenders. So that was, pretty nuts.
Yeah. But I mean, what a cool place to be, especially having qualified towards the back to begin with, to be then up at the front, and then the race. I mean, as you said, the pace those two guys had was very impressive, and you were just Not just following. I don't mean that, but I mean obviously you would keeping an eye on things, see if you can make a move. But cross the line in third, podium up there, second weekend, spot on. Got to be chuffed with that.
Definitely. I mean, hang on a moment. Bingo.
Oh, there it is. Look at that.
That's the one.
That's fantastic.
Ooh.
Cool. Obviously weighs a bit.
It's quite heavy. It's got a bottle of champagne in the top.
Nice.
A full bottle that was from karting, actually.
Oh yeah, you got some. Yeah. Yes, that's very cool.
We don't get them anymore, unfortunately. We got fizzy water at the Grand Prix weekend. Sprite, I think it was actually.
Right, we'll come to the Grand Prix weekend very shortly. Yeah, I mean, I probably shouldn't admit this. I actually may have liberated a bottle of, well, I say champagne, it was Prosecco from the British GT Championship at the end of last year. Barwell Motorsport. Sorry, folks. There was 8 of them standing there, and I don't want to have that. Anyway, sorry about that. But yeah, so you got the podium, backed up. What was it with 8th? Was it in the next round? I mean, you were delighted with how it started. I mean,
definitely.
And I'm going to talk about first big kind of disappointment. Thruxton. I think it was it the following round? No, round 4. I think it was Thruxton, wasn't it? You and your teammate were disqualified, I believe. That's what I do remember that. I mean, that's the first big disappointment. Obviously, I'm not going to go into why unless you wish to. No problem. But I mean, as a young racer, obviously there's disappointment there. I mean, how do you sort of deal with that? You think, I put all this work, all this effort to get there, been disqualified. I mean, do you just accept it as part of racing, or did you get a bit miffed?
Yeah, I think these things happen, and everyone's human. Everyone makes mistakes, and unfortunately, as a driver, you look for things you could do better. And in that situation, it wasn't on me or Yampu. So, that was the most difficult part because we couldn't do anything to fix it. And, the people at fault did hold their hands up and say, we're very sorry about this. And there were consequences that were sort of served, if you like, and lessons were learned. And that didn't happen again, which is the main thing. Everyone, at the end of the day, everyone makes mistakes. We're all human. We're not perfect. So, yeah, we get our heads down, fix what's gone wrong, and crack on. Absolutely
the best way to deal with things. Absolutely right. Excuse me. I mean, saying like before that, there was 6th at Snetterton, 9th on that Thruxton weekend, 8th at Silverstone. So, solid, some solid performances, top 10s and stuff.
First big disappointment of last year was actually Snetterton.
Okay.
In qualifying, I had a very, very big crash.
Oh, yes.
In qualifying.
Yes, I remember. Yes, I remember this being mentioned. I forgot. I didn't want to bring it up. No,
it's all right. No,
I remember.
It was going to be another very, very strong qualifying result. We'd gone green in the first sector. We were half a tenth off purple. We went purple in the second sector by a tenth. And then, unfortunately, round Coram, I dipped a wheel onto the white line in the wet and went spinning off into the barriers, which was gutting. But, these things shape you as a driver. And ultimately, it then again showed the speed was there. And at this point, we're sort of sat here in our 3rd race weekend of the year going, okay, this is pretty cool. We're fighting it right at the front now. The pace is there. The pace is strong. So let's just sort of start consolidating and putting things together a little bit.
Which is great. And again, it's sort of overcoming a setback, taking positives from it, if there are any, and moving on.
Precisely.
Which is good. Always the best way to deal with things. What I talk about, though, was it round 6? You went over to Zandvoort. Was this the first time you'd raced overseas?
Yeah, first time I'd been abroad. Yeah.
Fantastic. I mean, I've been to it was before they kind of tarted it all up and put the bank curve in at the end there and all that kind of stuff. Absolutely amazing place to go racing in the dunes there, up on the Dutch coast.
Yeah,
and you're only about a 10-minute walk from the beach, which is always nice.
Less than
first time I've ever gone to the beach to get an ice cream and then walk to a racetrack. I've never done that. Very nice. That was 2018. For someone who'd only raced in the UK, was it a bit different? I just the way the circuit was operated, or the surface, or anything like that. Was there anything that kind of stood out for you as being different, or was it just another cool racetrack?
Don't get me wrong, it's a really, really cool racetrack. The surface was very different. It has a lot of sand in it offline, so it's very, very slippy offline. And also the tarmac is very, very, very abrasive.
Okay.
So the tyres have it's certainly the slicks have a very, very distinctive peak, which is about lap 3, and then they drop off a cliff.
Wow.
So you shouldn't really ever be able to get back to your third lap time. So you've got an out lap, a warm lap, a build lap, a push lap, your tyres done.
Wow.
Yeah. That's certainly the case this year, which was just, it's very, very, I don't know how to describe it. Very odd, very different to what we're used to here in the UK, that's for sure.
Yeah, just with trying to manage them, or getting to the end of on tyres that are done. Anyone that's tuned into these knows that I'm a complete circuit nerd. I'm a complete geek. I love circuits and old ones and all that kind of stuff. 2 corners that I love at Zandvoort. Is it turn 3, the left hand sort of on the banking, whip it round the top? That looks great fun. So does the last corner, the Ari Lion Dope Box, the right-hander. Anything banked, it's just good, isn't it? Were they fun to drive, those 2?
Incredibly. No, it's an absolute roller coaster of a track. It's not great for racing for us, just because it's a lot of medium and high-speed corners, so you do get a lot of aero wash, and it's very difficult to follow closely with the car ahead. But it is a incredible track just to drive. You come into turn 1. Turn 1's actually very banked, which it doesn't look at it. It doesn't look it, but it is very banked. And then you've got turn 3, which is just so banked. And you go down the hill, back up over the blind crest for turn 7, back round the back at turn 8. And if you take the exit curb at turn 8, you bottom and go all the way off and risk losing the car in F4, which is difficult. So the mistakes are very costly. It's a very much a high risk, high reward circuit, but what an incredible track.
Fantastic. Definitely one that even as fans, if you get the chance to go to, absolute top draw. And it's not far from the UK, not far at all. In fact, I think I'm closer to there than I am to Knockhill, I think. So in terms of as the crow flies, but that's very cool. Speaking of Knockhill was the next round after Zandvoort, slightly different. Obviously, we've got it coming up this weekend as well. I mean, I always ask this about Knockhill because all the fans love it. Do you enjoy it as a driver?
Absolutely, it's one of my favourite tracks for sure. I think my 3 favourites are Alton, Donington, and Knockhill. I absolutely love the undulations of Knockhill. The curbs are flat, so you just smash over them all. It is just a crackers track that probably isn't appropriate for the new generation of British F4 cars to be racing on, which is why it makes it so incredibly fun. What a circuit. It's just the chicane, turn 1 even, you go over the curb, you get a bit of air time, you bounce back down, you feel the bottom of the tub hit the floor, you come back up, straight down into the left-hander. Oh, it's just, it's amazing.
Fantastic. Love it. And it's all to come this weekend, which is great. And you got your second best result of the season there. I think it was 4th up at Knockhill, which, always nice to go well at a circuit, good memories. And then I did see, just to carry on to the end of that first season last year, excuse me, I think it was Donington, back at Donington. Yeah, you mentioned it's one of your favourite circuits. It said it could be sort of the best weekend of the season, perhaps. I mean, you sort of went 7th.
For me, yeah.
Well, so there was 4 races. You went 7th, 13th, and then 6th and 3rd.
Third.
Third. Those last 2 races particularly, you must have been very happy with how those went.
No, Donington was a very, very strong weekend for us on the GP circuit. Donington's always up there in my favourites because it's so close to home for me. I'm Sheffield, which is just an hour up the motorway from Donington. So, no, it's always special because we've always got such great home support. We've got friends, family, partners are all always there. So to be able to do that in front of a home crowd, if you like, was great. And it was our joint best qualifying result of the year. We put it on the front row again in a very, very wet qualifying session. I think Deegan was up the road, and then it went me, and then there was a little gap back to Alex in third, I think, again. So we split the title contenders again, which maybe I was part of the reason, rolling roadblock, why Deegan ran away with it so much last year. But
that was very harsh on yourself.
No, just an incredible weekend. I'd say, Donington was definitely my favourite weekend last year. That's for sure.
It's great, and obviously, you got to go racing 4 times for starters, but obviously, to then deliver, to deliver the results you did, was like terrific. And then Silverstone, the home of British motorsport, as people say, no, it's not. I don't like it. Silverstone gets slated by fans. Absolutely nonsense. I love the place. But I think you took 6th there at Silverstone. Obviously, there was a DNS in there as well. But nice to go well around Silverstone, I imagine.
Yeah, I mean, this is the national,
yes.
Isn't it? Yes. So that was the probably toughest weekend I had last year. With qualifying was very strong, 6th. So again, well and comfortably inside that top 10 barrier. And then unfortunately in race 1, it was race 2. We had it was reverse grid, and then the car on pole stalled. And unfortunately, I was blindsided. Alex Ninovic cut across the front of me. So I had a lot of spray to deal with. And then by the time I could see again, I was in the back of Thomas Behrman's car, unfortunately. So that was a very, very big, nasty crash. Thanks to the Billy plate and the new Tatus tub, if you like, and the strength of it. I can walk and live to tell the tale, but it could have been a very, very nasty story. And I'll be honest with you, I don't remember an awful lot about it / anything. And it was a very difficult day and a very difficult weekend, that's for sure. But we bounced back later for the last round at Brands Hatch.
Sure. I mean, and just on that, I mean, obviously, many people will have seen it happen, and I think when that kind of thing happens now, we all think, about what happened to Billy, and we think, oh crikey, and I think everyone was very relieved to see you sort of get out of there and without too many ill effects. And as you say, with the Billy plate in there, things like that, it sort of did its job essentially, didn't it? So one.
No, immensely grateful for that. Immensely.
Absolutely, just one of those things. And then, I just seen here, had 3 top 8 finishes and 11th at Brands Hatch. So, again, solid in the top 10, fairly strong end to the season. 10th overall, I guess you'd have taken that start of the season. 3rd in the Rookie Cup as well. You had a few rookie wins across the season.
We did. We had, how many rookie wins do we have? 1, 2,
5,
3,
6?
4, 5. Bingo. Yeah, 5. I'll tell you what, you've done your research, haven't you?
It's all Wikipedia. No, it's not. But
I'm here sat counting my trophies on my windowsill.
I mean, that's a much cooler way to do it than me just sort of sitting here in my little corner trying to find bits of numbers and things. But I guess at the start of the season you'd have taken a top 10 finish in the championship, wouldn't you?
100%. Yeah. I mean, it was a very, very competitive year last year. There were some very big names in the championship, and then from there it was a case of full focus on next year and coming back to do the best job we possibly can this year.
Absolutely right. And we're going to come on to this year just a second. But you mentioned about the grid. I did have a quick look down the list here of people that were on the grid. I mean, it was a proper grid. I mean, as I said, we've got Deegan Fairclough, we've got Alex Ninovic, James Higgins on there, Jack Sherwood, Abby Pulling, of course, who did F1 Academy and won F1 Academy. Excuse me. You got Kai Darianani and Ella Lloyd, who's gone on to do bits and pieces, and Alex Berg, who's Alex is a good lad. I'm quite pally with his dad now, which is good, and Jack Suter and like Aurelian Nobles, Kerry Schreiner came in for various races. Jess Edkin, like Thomas Behrman. I mean, crikey, it's a talented grid, and to get in the top 10 in the rookie season, I think that is pretty top draw. And just some footnotes, just to blow a little bit of smoke your way. You've got first rookie to be awarded the Pirelli Hardest Charger Award for most overtakes in a qualifying race. First rookie to achieve an overall podium in the first 3 races of a season. Fastest lap ever recorded round Donington Park in the series. 2 front row starts and 21 trophies from 30 races. I mean, that's a pretty good year for starters, isn't it?
Not a bad estimate, that.
You know,
better than this year, that's for sure.
No, I mean that's a proper start, and obviously full of confidence and going into this year. If I can ask, how did the switch from Argenti to JHR come about? I'm always interested in sort of team changes and how they happen.
So we got looking to come into British F4 again for a second year, return for a second year. We got an offer from almost every team on the grid,
Nice.
which was just, it was testament to what an incredible job we did last year. And we spoke to a few different options, and a JHR seemed like a right fit for us. They're based in Dronfield, I'm based in Sheffield. It's literally 20 minutes from my doorstep, so very convenient for us. They've got a state-of-the-art simulator at their HQ, so that was certainly a drawing factor as well. With that being so high tech and the preparation side of things being so important, because track time is so limited that you do need to do a lot of simulator work behind the scenes, and that was a big draw for us. And we've known Steve for an awfully long time, who owns and runs JHR, and he's Sheffield born and bred. I'm Sheffield born and bred, so it felt like the right fit.
Like a good fit at the right time as well. Just quickly about Dronfield. I think I know a little bit of social history about Dronfield. Is it not where Sheffield Football Club are from, the world's first football club? I'm sure
it is. Yeah,
there you go. Yeah. Look, see, I don't know where that came from, but there it is. The world's first football club, Sheffield FC in Dronfield.
Every time on my way to JHR, I drive past Sheffield.
Oh, nice
FC.
one. Yeah, cool.
There's a bit of stuff that you didn't need to know, but now you do.
Happy days. Bonus tidbits for everyone. I've not been to a game there, but I have popped in just because it's the oldest football club. So there you go, folks. Social history. You don't get that anywhere else, especially not motorsport related. Anyway, so yes, JHR. You've said the reason for going. Absolutely understandable for going there. Were you setting any targets second season for this year? Any sort of target, or again was it just get in and go?
No, the target for this year was to come and win, to come and try and take the championship, which unfortunately hasn't gone to plan. There've been many setbacks this year, and the summary of this year is if we didn't have bad luck, we'd have no luck at all. Whatever possibly could have gone wrong has, unfortunately. And don't get me wrong, there've been many highs, but there've also been an awful lot of lows. And we've had some very, very difficult days and very difficult weekends. But it's about, taking the positives from those and turning all the negatives around and going, right, what can we do to fix this for next time? And it's about just trying to look forward and see what we can improve on for the next weekend. So the prep stays the same, or you add little bits into prep, and you look back at weekends, you digest what you could have done better, what you did well. And on the whole, this year has been quite strong with everything that we can control. So as a driver, you're always looking for things that you can do better. And sometimes, there's always, half a tenth here, a couple of hundredths here, that sort of thing. And you're always looking for those. But at the same time, it's a team effort, and all parties need to work together in sync and harmony, and all the stars need to align for results to come. And unfortunately, they haven't quite done that yet. And we've worked really well together as a team in terms of JHR and I. Have worked really closely and really strongly, and every weekend we've seemed to come back stronger with a stronger car, a better car, and better results as well. Although on paper it might not show it sometimes, but we've been on a good trajectory,
which is good, and that's the most important thing, is how it is inside the team. As to say,
Massively.
only results only the actual final results only paint a small picture of everything in any sport, doesn't it?
Exactly.
And I kind of like that you use the line, the things that you can control, because it feels like this year there's been an awful lot of things that have gone on out with your control. Unfortunately, it's just one of those things that's come up. But
You're telling me.
I do want to pick on some positives, because we like positives. It's why we go racing, for the positives. You have taken your best ever result in the series this year, second place at Silverstone. Obviously, given what happened at the end of last year there with the accident we spoke about, it must have been nice to get a positive run and positive result and make some happy memories from there.
Big time, yeah. Very nice to be back up on the podium and to see a lot of happy faces looking up at you. And it does spur you on and motivates you to do even more, to be better and to try even harder and do as much as you possibly can. And I think as a driver, that's what you're always doing, whether it's behind the scenes or on track. You're always working at as maximum capacity, if you like. And that's what you're always striving to do the best you possibly can.
Yeah, absolutely right, which is great. I'm just going to couple of comments have come in from Darren Pullen as well, because yes, it will come good next time. Take the rough with the smooth. Exactly that. And I did miss one from our friend Diffan. Sorry, Diffan. He's saying this goes back to what happened at Snetterton in qualifying. Says, yeah, no shame in making a mistake, getting a win on the painted line, going off. Plenty of experienced racers have raced for numerous amounts of years, have done the same thing. Yes, I remember years ago, Steve Soper. I mean, Steve Soper has raced and won in everything. Old Steve, and he went off pretty much exactly the same spot. So, if you're not finding the white lines, you're not pushing. There you go. And every now and again, it just goes a millimeter too far. But anyway, so no, but thank you for the comment, Defend. Thank you very much. Right, more positives I want to talk about here. I mean, I'm sorry you had a big run of just misfortune, and right in the middle of the year, was it? Because you did well, sort of 7th and 6th and 7th, Snetterton, Thruxton, some momentum. Then Thruxton and Alton Park, it just seemed to go against you. I even watching it, I was thinking it's having no luck at all. But we've got to talk about the British Grand Prix weekend, because, wow, obviously, as part of the 75 years of F1 celebration, obviously, there was a lot of like the British support races, and of which you were part. You must have been absolutely buzzing to get there.
Yeah, I mean, what an incredible opportunity. It was just so cool. Driving in on Friday morning for free practice at, I think it was 8:30, something like that. And so you get to go in the main gates as you're a competitor and go around and park in the national pits and that sort of thing. And to drive in, and all the gates on both sides, all the pavements are lined with people like looking for F1 drivers and waving. And at that time in the morning is just bonkers. It's like, what time have you got up to be here?
Well, I was there in 2021 and I was camping, which may have explained why I was up so early, because you couldn't sleep. But yeah, people are up at like 4 in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning, just getting in queues for things. And yeah, I did see someone queuing for a closed merchandise stand at about 5:30 in the morning. It was like, there's got to be more merchandise stands, mate. But yeah, people are up proper early, aren't they? And it's a cool vibe, isn't it?
It's an incredible vibe, incredible experience, and an incredible weekend as a whole, really. I mean, I've had a lot of interviews since, and I still haven't found the words to put my feelings out there, if that makes sense, in terms of how truly incredible it was. Just bonkers. The atmosphere, just on track, as you come out of Maggots and Beckett, say you're looking down the Hanger Straight, the only thing you can see as a driver is Louis Vuitton. It's like, it's bonkers. It's like, there was a funny moment, actually. So after free practice, my driver coach asked me where I'm braking for Stowe, and I said the Louis Vuitton board. Because he was so baffled, because there's about Yeah, well, it's all the way from Maggots and Beckett, all the way down the hangar.
On the bridge as well, I think. It's on the bridge.
So it's like, well, hang on, which one?
There's 40.
Yeah, that was just what an incredible experience. What an incredible weekend to come away with a bit of silverware as well was
That's
nice.
amazing.
Until it wasn't. But,
well, yes, a couple of bits I want to pick on. But basically, I mean, obviously, there's crowds at every race you go to. But when you're there, when you're sitting in the car and you're seeing cars going around and the F1 guys have been out and all the other people, and then it's your turn to go out for practice or qualifying, whatever. Is there a part of you that thinks, oh my God, there's like 350,000 people here? Do you get a bit of...
Not particularly before the Grand Prix weekend. And then the Grand Prix weekend, you sat in the assembly area, just sat in your car waiting to go, and you can hear cheers, you can hear air horns. You're like, what is this? Yeah, just crackers. Absolutely sensational, amazing, incredible. Amazing. I don't know the words. I could go on and on and on. The feeling of going out in front of such a big crowd, and especially for our race one on Saturday, was straight after F1 qualifying. So a lot of fans stuck around to have a look and to see what we were up to. And no, it was just, stands were packed for us as well, which was just bonkers. I'm like, we're F4. Do you know that? Yeah.
I found, I mentioned I was there in 2021. Amazingly, my first F1 Grand Prix. I feel really old now. I went to qualifying in 1988. Oh yeah. I was pit lane walkabout and all that, but I was at Grand Prix, and the amount of people, there were some people that just wouldn't get out of their fold-out chairs with a beer. They would, by the tent, they wouldn't move until F1 time. I was like, absolutely not. I'm going to go and and the vast majority went and watched the support races, everything. We watched, I think, W Series were there, and Alice Powell won, so we got a home win there. And there was, there were demonstrations. There's so much going on. I mean, why would you not spend all day trackside? And it was great to have crowds for you guys as well, of course. Disappointing retirement in race one. We'll sidestep that.
It's another thing though. It's like the control circle as a driver, and everything that I could possibly do that was within my power, I did extremely well. And we qualified third for race one, which was mega. Got a good start, got into second off the line, took the lead into Brooklands outside the BRDC, and then coming through Maggots and Beckett's, the suspension failed.
Yes.
The bolt in the rear left corner, I think it's the Ackerman bolt, it's called, completely snapped.
Was that on the first part of the complex? Because there'll be quite loading on that side, would there not? I guess.
So it snapped on the first part, survived for Beckett's, and then Maggots, survived for Maggots, and then Chapel was when it the wheel buckled, and I'm like,
wow,
and it all went spinning up in smoke, quite literally.
Yes, and at that point, the heart must sink. Well, firstly, you want to come to a halt first. Obviously, that's the main thing. But I guess your heart sank there. Not the place to have a mechanical either. High speed.
Nope.
Goodness me.
High speed from the lead. You've got 30 cars coming towards you at 135 miles an hour is not the best feeling in the world. That's for sure.
I can imagine. There's like the disappointment, the fear, the everything all at once. But race two, far better in race two. Again, you were running up the front when you had the suspension issue, running back at the front for pretty much the whole race. You must have had a few seconds just to enjoy what was going on. Running up at the front, British Grand Prix weekend. Right in contention as well, just behind Thomas Behrman, who obviously had his brother supporting all the time and everything. I mean, that must have been pretty cool to be running at the front end there.
Amazing. I mean, we qualified, I think it was P7 or P8 for the second race. So we knew we had some work to do from there. And we came through the pack really well, raced to third on track and finished third on track. And I think a couple more laps and I'd have had P2, which would have been nice. But again, wasn't quite meant to be. But no, it was certainly an incredible moment. And Motorsport UK also did an Instagram post when I was up on the podium with my dad looking at me, which was just really sweet. No, that was an incredible moment, a proud dad moment, that's for sure. Yeah. But no, to walk through that red tunnel and to spray some fizzy Sprite at each other on the Formula One podium was just a little boy's dream come true. That's for sure.
Amazing. And people don't tend to hear this because there's a few little grandstands, isn't there? Just as you go onto the Hamilton Straight Round Club and all that. We were there. I said when Lewis got sprint race pole, I think it was in 2021, and for quite relatively small looking grandstands, the noise that the fans generate for any Brit doing well. I mean, it doesn't come across on TV. It was deafening. And I guess you must have picked up on that when,
Yeah, I mean, considering it was, I can't remember what time it was. I think it was 10 o'clock in the morning, which is still, Formula One's not on until 3 o'clock. What are you doing here?
Have a lion.
The noise was just incredible. Walking out onto that, hearing all the cheers, the air horns.
Wow.
It's something that nothing compares to.
Wow. That's very cool. That's a very, very cool thing to have happen. Absolutely fantastic. And obviously, and we ended the weekend with a British winner as well in the Formula One. So it was good. Brits on the podium at Silverstone. Nothing better, especially for guys like you who got to do it. Very, very nice. I was very quickly, so last time out, back out at Zandvoort again, back out there. Perhaps not quite not the results perhaps you wanted, but some good pace and some good feelings going into Knock Hill this weekend, hopefully.
Yeah. Zandvoort was, sorry, I'm just pouring myself another drink.
That's all right. I'm
rather thirsty work, this talking.
Yeah.
No, stay hydrated in this heat, ladies
Absolutely
and gents.
Right.
No, Knock Hill, looking forward to it. Zandvoort wasn't the best. Unfortunately, we were fighting troubles there quite a lot. Race 1 was very unfortunate again. Something that I couldn't have dealt with. Coming out the last corner, was in P11, went for P10. A car in front of me braked too late, outbraked themselves, drove out onto the exit curb, dropped a wheel into the gravel, spun right back in front of me, and I had nowhere to go. And there is a lovely frame from my video onboard camera of my car this way and this car this way, and it's like no matter which way I go here, I'm gonna get.
You're right in the middle.
So
yeah.
So it was one of those things where I couldn't have done anything again, and you couldn't write it. But no, we've done a full factory reset, if you like, leading into this weekend. Done an awful lot of training, done an awful lot of sim prep, and hopefully we're going to be strong this weekend at Knock Hill. And it's been a track that's been good to us in the past. Last year we were strong there, and I think we topped the timesheets of the official test days there earlier this year as well.
Okay.
So we were purple in all 3 sectors, which was nice as well. So hopefully we can go and repeat that this weekend in qualifying, and then hopefully not see anyone for the rest of the weekend until race 2.
Yes, absolutely. That is the plan, and hopefully,
not planning on doing much overtaking.
No, absolutely. Get it. Get ahead, stay there. And obviously, we hope for a bit of better fortune as well. Obviously, because that's been what's lacking this year.
Mm-hmm.
You're certainly due some. From what we've seen this year. Just quickly, because obviously it's BTCC weekend. There's a lot of BTCC fans following this page. There's a couple of questions I'm going to bring in just a moment. Obviously, you've been around the F1 paddock, which is just sort of very big and loud and expensive and that kind of stuff. BTCC, and I mean this in the nicest possible way, isn't that kind of vibe. It's just a mad weekend. There's so much going on. It's short, punchy races. There's a lot going on, buzzing around. You've got to be here, there, and everywhere. Just from a racer who's not in the main BTCC paddock, I guess. What's it like with all that going on and what you have to do and all that? Because it's high-paced all weekend, isn't it?
No, we have, as drivers, we have quite a lot of commitments over the weekend, whether that's behind-the-scenes meetings, whether that's the actual on-track stuff, or like media duties, which we do a lot of with F4. We do the driver signing on Sunday. So actually the weekends are quite packed for us as drivers. And obviously after every session, you have a debrief, you have a meeting with the team most days. There's a whole sort of team engineering briefing meeting sort of thing. So you spend a lot of your times either in briefings or talking to cameras. You spend a very little amount of time in comparison to the rest of everything actually driving the car, which is sort of not quite what you sign up for, but I'm only messing.
It's all part of it, unfortunately.
No, you don't. Over a race weekend, you don't get to do that much driving, which is a bit frustrating, but at the same time, it means that that makes the prep so much more important because you've got such a short time to excel and to find your feet and to do well, that it means that you have to sort of switch on and perform in that moment, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
So, I think this weekend should be very good. I think the Toka weekends are run very well and very smoothly, and I always love the Toka weekends. They're smaller tracks, so all the banks are always rammed. So actually, it looks about the same amount of people as on a Formula One weekend, because obviously it's a lot less people, but it's a smaller area. The banks are smaller, everything's slightly smaller, so it just looks more packed, which is just nuts.
Yeah, it's all proportional, but especially at Knockhill, because everything's in like a bowl almost, and there's loads of banking and all kinds of very, very cool. So I mean, obviously, first things first, we have to wish you all the best of luck for this weekend. Hopefully some good pace and some better luck.
No, thank you.
And visits to the podium. So, folks, if you're heading to Knockhill, go and say hello to Rowan, or if you're watching on the telly,
pop by and say hello.
Yes, do that. And obviously, and if you're watching on the telly, as I will be, give him some support, some digital support through the screen.
You.
Let's get some more followers. Let's get a little fan club going. It'll be good. But no, great stuff. Yeah. So obviously, wish you all you and the team all the best of luck this weekend. And for the rest of the season, of course, better fortune and a nice high finish in the standings would be lovely. Right, okay, just a couple of questions that have come in before we get onto all the little sort of side bits and fun questions that we like to wind down with. What we've got here, Diffan, hello again, Diffan. He said, how do you cope when the weather is really hot when you're racing, like it's supposed to be this weekend, or when it's pouring down with rain? Is there anything that you do to take the edge off of things, I guess?
Not particularly. I think when it's warm, you've just got to focus on eating well and staying hydrated. So, like, you take your electrolytes, that sort of thing, which is sort of it's very important, especially when you're doing high intense work like driving the cars. It gets very warm. We're effectively sat on a heated seat because the engine's just behind us. Right. So it does get very, very hot very, very quickly. And especially when it's warm weather, you get warm air coming into your helmet, which isn't particularly pleasant either. Now, it must be much worse in a touring car, so I'm no one to sit here and moan. But no, the key things are staying hydrated. When it's raining, just putting a clearer visor on, something like that, just so you can see a little bit better. I always tape up as well the front sort of 2 air holes, I guess, that are in the front of my helmet, just so too much water doesn't come in, and also close your vents. When you have water coming in, that's when you start steaming up and problems start appearing. So I always do as much as I can to just keep sealed for as long as I can.
Oh, excellent. Well, that shouldn't be an issue this weekend, but it is Knockhill, so you never know. You never know what's going to happen.
If it's not raining, it's going to be.
Yeah, well, that's the thing, isn't it? They said, was it if you can't see the top of the hill,
it's the phone mast.
Yeah, they said,
it's the If you can see the phone mast, it's going to rain, and if you can't see it, it's raining.
Exactly that. It's like the Knockhill version of the famous line. I think it was from Mario Andretti about the Indy 500. He said there's two types of racer at the Indy 500: those that have hit the wall and those that are going to. It's the Knockhill weather version of that. But no, hopefully we'll all stay dry and relatively warm this weekend. So great stuff. Just very quickly, there's one thing I did want to, two things actually I wanted to touch on that have caught my eye this year. You are a children's champion and ambassador for the Children's Hospital charity, which is fantastic for any driver to get involved in anything like that. How did it come about? And well, I won't ask exactly how much you've raised, but you've raised a lot of money, which is lovely.
No, it all started off with a coffee and a chat. I wanted to work with a charity, and I've always been brought up to try and give back as much as possible. And when you do have free time, to fill it with good, productive things that do give back. And I'm in a very fortunate position where I can try and use what I do and my platform to promote and raise awareness for incredible causes like the Children's Hospital charity. It's something that's very close to my heart. It's here within Sheffield, and the Sheffield Children's Hospital have done an awful lot for me. I was in there when I was a small child with a serious chest infection, so I can probably honestly say I owe my life to them.
Wow.
Which is, it's amazing, and they do so much for so many. And you speak to anyone within Sheffield, with children or who've been children in Sheffield, and 90% of people you'll speak to will have ended up in the children's at some point with someone or know someone that has.
Wow.
And they do so much for so many. They save lives every day. And not only that, but they do so much groundbreaking, innovative work, research and development, and trying new things with treatments and different rehabilitation stuff. And there's just so much they do that's not spoken about enough, and there's not enough awareness or presence raised for it. And they deserve all the praise they can get, because they do so much for so many youngsters within Sheffield and the wider region of South Yorkshire. I mean, they've just recently built a helipad on top of the hospital, so the air ambulance can come from far and wide.
Fantastic.
Which is it's amazing. And it's a cause that truly means a lot to me. We try and do as many events and stuff for them as we can. We've done mud runs, fun runs. We do a charity karting event annually that we run called the Steel City Cup, which is always good fun. And we've raised, I think it's just over £25,000 for them now, which is an incredible figure. And it couldn't be to a more deserved cause.
Yeah, absolutely. That's absolutely fantastic. That's a terrific sum, and obviously only more to be raised. So huge well done to you and everyone who makes these charity fundraisers happen.
It's not me that's done it.
Well,
it's not me that's done it. It's all the incredible people behind the scenes no, it's all the incredible behind the scenes people that come and support us in the events that we do and everything that we do. So it's not me at all. It's all the unsung heroes of South Yorkshire for sure.
That is fantastic. But as a motorsport community, if that isn't a reason to get behind Rowan and everything that he's doing, then I don't know what is. And obviously to the wider, to the wider charity as well. Absolutely fantastic. Huge double thumbs up from everyone for that, which is great to see. One more thing that's happened quite recently. Amadora Art. Little that you've kind of got involved with. I'm not an artist. I absolutely not. But I had Paul Oz on here, the F1 sculptor and artist and everything. Absolutely fascinating insights. I quite like all the process and stuff. How did that little partnership come together? Because it's, I guess, kind of left field, but it's very cool.
It's immensely cool. I've always been into art. In fact, I get my A-level art results tomorrow morning.
Oh my goodness!
Which I'm sort of slightly nervous about. So
good luck.
Thank you.
Yeah.
We'll see how I get on. I'll either be opening an envelope and putting it straight in the bin, or opening an envelope and going, "Yay, hooray! I've done all right. Now to not kill."
What a day! Goodness me! Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. If it goes well, I'll be on my way to not kill. If it goes badly, I'll be on my way to not kill.
Either way, it's not the worst outcome. So, it's
exactly.
all right.
I'm getting sidetracked here anyway. So no, Amadora is also a big supporter of the Children's Hospital charity, and we know each other through there. So I've always been interested in art, and we sort of put our heads together and decided that we should do a collaboration sort of thing. And we're having an event later in September, which is I'm really looking forward to. I can't wait to see the finished painting. And I think we're having 42 prints done. So limited edition prints, which will be so cool. And we're signing some and giving them away to the Children's Hospital charity to auction off as well, and all profits and proceeds will go towards the Children's Hospital charity, which is again an incredible cause. And no, it's I can't. I'm so excited to see what this painting holds. It's incredible.
That's going to be great. I'm definitely looking forward to seeing that. And again, another great thing to do for a fantastic cause, which is great. It's good to see local people getting together to support local charities, which is by far and away the most important thing. Which is great. I was just in a comment here saying, "Oh, bless. We hope the envelope contains what you're hoping for tomorrow." There you go. Well wishes.
I don't know what I'm hoping for, to be honest. I'm hoping for a good weekend at Knockhill. That's what I'm hoping for.
Yeah. If the envelope contains, I don't know, like a free race win. There you go. We're not sure that's how it works, but hey ho. Yeah, that's great. Good stuff. Okay, right. We'll try and end with some fun, questions and just some interesting, like general ones. We always say it's going to be between an hour and an hour and a half, so I can't get a wriggle on. This is good. It's a good question. Obviously, we know that motorsport, even at any level, is pretty much a full-time thing with all the training and the sim work and everything else that you have to do. When you get a spare moment, what do you do when you're not motorsporting? How do you just sort of switch off from the big, fast, noisy things?
I think probably chilling out with family and friends, just trying to have a moment and chill a little bit. But I like playing golf with my little brother. My little brother's very into his golf, and unfortunately he's getting quite good at it now. Unfortunately for me, I should say, he's getting quite good at it now. So I'm starting to debate whether I should be going to the driving range a bit more.
That is the thing with golf, isn't it? You can get quite good quite quickly, but if you don't play for a while, you just drop off a cliff, don't you? It becomes from the best game in the world to the worst.
He's been playing an awful lot recently, and I haven't. I've been racing. It's not good. So I'm now putting off whenever I possibly can. Putting off, whenever I possibly can play with him. I'm like, no, sorry, I'm busy today, Austin. No, I'm very sorry. No, but we're a very close family, so I try and spend as much time with my little brother as possible. What else do I do? That's really about it. Charity stuff with the Children's Hospital charity, try and support them in any way I can in my free time, and just generally try and fill my downtime with good productive things.
It's good. It's what we can ask for. Just in a comment on Facebook. Hello to Nikki Sim. Hello, photographer. Nikki Sim has been following the page for a while. Go and follow her page. Nikki Sim Photography or Nicola Sim Photography.
Hello, Nikki. How are you?
Do put in the correct, if it's Nicola Sim or Nikki Sim. Nikki, please put it in. I don't want to get shouted at next time I see you. But she says hi, Rowan. So there you go. I'm sure she might be up at Knockhill at the weekend. She's usually
she is.
Yes, good.
Dom is coaching in the JCW.
Yes, so she is. What's the word? Can we say? I think she's made it public. She's engaged to Don Wheatley, which is lovely. Mini challenge driver Don Wheatley. So congratulations, guys. I haven't actually seen you since you made the news public. So congratulations to you both. Lovely news. So yes, hello, Nikki. Right, okay. Apart from the one that you're racing in, which motorsport series do you follow most seriously? Most closely? Is it F1, touring cars, bit of everything? How'd you follow?
Probably, I don't really know, to be honest. Probably Formula One, something like that. Formula One's, I like to keep an eye on Formula One and see what I can do and see what, I don't know how to put it. See who's doing well, see what teams are doing, see what upgrades are bringing, all the sort of nitty-gritty inside bits I try and keep an eye on and love.
Yeah, you have to hear that. See, that's good. All the stuff that people don't tend to think about. Plus, if you can get a bit of knowledge about that, you can drop it into a conversation and people think you're really clever. That's what I keep doing.
Exactly, yeah. That's the main reason.
It's all a bluff. But okay, cool. So, when you were very little, Rowan, did you have a favourite driver? And do you have one now?
I think I've always had sort of idols that I look up to. Max Verstappen's got to be up there for sure. I as much as some people don't like him, I think his approach and the way he races and how cutthroat he is, how motivated he is, I think is very admirable. I also really like Oscar Piastri. He's up there. I think his no noise sort of approach and he sort of gets his head down and cracks on with it is very good. And also I look up to the likes of Colin McRae. I love watching Colin McRae's onboard from back in the day in the Subaru. How at one with the car he was.
Unreal. Yeah.
Just having it out on a limb all the time, just absolutely nuts. Yeah, how incredible.
Amazing. Well, and as you'll know, if in doubt, flat out. Which is
Absolutely
fantastic. I was very fortunate enough to see Colin rallying in the flesh, and goodness me, it was something else. It's just, absolutely incredible. Yeah,
nutter.
A controlled nutter.
Yeah, well, that's it, isn't it?
I think you have to be.
Yeah, watching his onboard, going back and seeing it on YouTube and stuff, and it's like, this is just crackers.
Yeah.
You have got some nerve. That's for sure.
That's it, isn't it? That's the thing with like rally drivers. I've always said people that you get like rally drivers and the bikers that do like the road racing, the Northwest 200 and the Isle of Man TT, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
I've always said racing drivers are wired differently to other humans. Rally drivers and road racers, they're not even humans. They're just I can't get my head around.
I don't get it.
How they do it.
I look at that going, what sensible decision do you make in your head to think that's a good idea?
At what point, do you ever think, no, I shouldn't be doing this? I spoke with I've spoken to a few bikers on here, like Shane Burns, 6-time British Superbike champion. I spoke with Shaky on here, and I've caught up with them a couple of times. And I mentioned we were talking about the Isle of Man, about Peter Hickman and people like that, and I said, the Isle of Man TT, would you? And I got that far, and he went, no, absolutely, just wouldn't even entertain the idea. And he said, road racers and rally drivers, they're not of sound mind. They're all completely crackers. But yeah, very cool. Cool hero to have, though, Colin McRae. Okay, is there a series? Obviously, F1, I guess, is the ultimate goal. But
yes and no. But yeah.
Ooh, okay. Yeah. But is there a series that you'd like to try, just as something different or something fun, like IndyCar or NASCAR or the supercars or Le Mans, anything like that you think, oh, that'd be good?
I think my ultimate dream and my ultimate goal is to be a Formula One world champion. I wouldn't want to go and race in a series that I didn't think I could be competitive in. And I race to win for the team and for myself and to do the best we possibly can do. So I wouldn't want to be somewhere where I don't think I could compete. Yeah. But as another series, maybe, I don't know, maybe IndyCar, something like that. That's quite cool. Although I'd love a go in the Australian V8 supercars. They're awesome. They are.
You've just named my two favourite motorsport series. They're so good. But yeah, God, that'd be cool. Bathurst, big old.
That's my favourite. Well, that's my dream track to race at. Yeah. So
absolutely on my bucket list, big time. No, that's cool. IndyCar and supercars, that'd be very, very cool. Question here: what about historics or something like the Mini Millias? That'd be cool. Bit of historic racing.
Historics are quite cool. The fact that you just the way the tires are, they just slide. You got your 4-wheel slides around every corner, which I think Ken Miles talked in detail about in. I can't remember. I've seen it somewhere. You'll all know the one I mean. And yeah, so they're very interesting, and the driving style with them is very, very unique. So I think that's something that would be cool to do at some point in future, and I'd love to try and do Goodwood or something like that at some point.
Fantastic. Well, actually, this weekend, go and have a word with Charles Rainford. He does a lot of it. Go and have a word with Charles at WSR. He'll sort you out. Good lad, Charles. Good stuff. Okay, what we got? Okay, two more, or just one more. Have you got a favourite circuit to drive on? I think you named 3. Could you pick one that's your favourite circuit to drive on? Good. Multiple favourites.
I can't pick. They're all they're all so good for different reasons. You know, Knockhill's amazing for the undulations and the curbs you can smash over and all that sort of thing. Alton Park's so high risk, high reward that it's awesome. Donington's a really cool track, and we've always got such great home support there. So I couldn't narrow it down. They're all so good for so different reasons.
There's absolutely nothing wrong with that. No, we like that. Who wants one favourite anyway? We need loads of favourites, which is great. And very quickly, I mean, we mentioned some of the races that you've raced against on the F4 grids that you've competed against. So far, is there anyone, maybe who's not the best, but someone who you think is maybe the most complete driver, or someone who, I don't know, just like stands out in your mind as a competitor, or are you just better than all of them?
No, I think you're always looking up to people and trying to learn from people. You know, I think I did my best to try and follow Deegan as much as I could last year, and see what he's doing and see and pick up on little bits that he knows that I don't, and that sort of thing. And again with Martin this year, you know, just trying to learn from as many people as possible. So I don't think I could narrow it down to one, but there are some very talented drivers out there at the moment, and that we're racing against, that make it very difficult to get on that top step. But you best bet we'll be doing our best to beat them this weekend. Absolutely
right. No, good stuff. And obviously, we do hope that top step is calling you over the weekend. I certainly hope so. But yeah, this one last thing to say is obviously very best of luck for the weekend. Very best of luck for the rest of the season. Firstly, thank you as well to everyone who's tuned in. Lots of questions, and there's almost 200 of you tuning in, which is lovely. Thank you very much for tuning in. I know it's a bit warm sitting in front of warm devices and stuff, listening to two people rambling about motorsport. But thank you very much to everyone who's tuned in and for all the comments and everything. And we'll be back next Thursday for a chat with someone else, which I'm going to announce tomorrow. But in the meantime, Rowan, absolutely brilliant. Thank you very much for coming on and having a chat. It's been great hearing about your journey so far. And obviously, we will all wish you all the very best for wherever the future takes you.
Thank you so much, and thank you to everyone that's joined in. And if you're at Knockhill, feel free to pop by and say hello. Or if you're at any more of the British Touring Car rounds later this year at all, just pop by and say hi. I don't bite normally, depending on what day I'm having. I don't know. But no, thank you so much for everyone listening. Thank you, Rich, for having me on. And yeah, we'll see you all soon.
Yeah, great stuff. That's right. So yes, folks, if you're at Knockhill or anywhere else on the F4 calendar, head over to the big JHR trailers and go and say hello. Right, great stuff, guys. Thank you very much, everyone who's tuned in. Rowan, biggest thanks to you. Best of luck this weekend, and we will see you all very, very soon. Thanks very much.